Call to order this meeting of the Board of Education, Rocky Hill, Connecticut, January 16th, 2025. Time is now 7:04. If everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Agenda item number 2 is audience participation. The first part of that agenda item is meeting open to the public. Is there anyone here to address the board tonight? Seeing no. Oh, here we go. Please just state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name's Rich Kwiatkowski at 39 Hollister Drive. I'm here with a couple of the troop members from Troop 121 in Rocky Hill, trying to complete some of their merit requirements and level ranks. So they're here to take some notes and learn from you guys. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. All right. Anyone else? All right. Seeing no one else, and welcome. Report of student representatives. Tonight we have representatives from the Rocky Hill High School. Ladies, if you'd please come to the podium.
Good evening, members of the Board of Ed. It's hard to believe we are already halfway through the school year with 20 weeks behind us. It seemed like yesterday we just started school, and time seems to be flying by as we continue to make progress in academics, extracurriculars, and school-wide initiatives.
To highlight some of our recent accomplishments, our Law and Order class held a highly engaging mock trial at the end of December, right before holiday break started. It was an incredible opportunity for students to demonstrate critical thinking, teamwork, and public speaking skills while getting hands-on experience with courtroom procedures.
Meanwhile, our winter sports team are also making great strides. With only about a month left in their season, athletes have been working hard, and we look forward to seeing how they finish the season strong.
Now, with only 15 days left in January, the main focus for many and all students has been preparing for midterms, which officially begin tomorrow. Many teachers have gone above and beyond to support students, running study sessions during and after class to ensure everyone feels confident and ready to succeed.
Looking ahead, course recommendations for the next school year will start on January 30th, giving students a chance to explore their academic interests and plan their schedules.
As always, we're grateful for our principal, Mr. Foti, for his continued leadership, innovation, and dedication to providing opportunities that help every student succeed. So we are very excited to share about Mr. Foti's 8-week advisory program for all grades, starting January 30th. This program is tailored to meet the unique needs of each grade level.
Freshmen will attend educational presentation on important topics such as course selection and personal growth. Sophomores will focus on SAT math prep, while juniors will concentrate on SAT English prep to help them feel ready for the challenges ahead. Seniors have the opportunity to practice in a variety of hands-on activities and engaging projects that will allow them to explore personal interests during their final semester.
Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to sharing more updates as we continue this school year. Thank you so much, and we'll be studying for our midterms now. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. All right, moving along to agenda item number 3, approval of the minutes. Tonight on the agenda, we have the following minutes: December 19th, 2024, Board of Education Curriculum Committee meeting; December 19th, 2024, Board of Education Policy Committee meeting; December 19th, 2024, Board of Education meeting. Does anyone have any corrections, deletions, or additions for any of the minutes? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes as listed on the agenda.
Moved by Ms. Tucker. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Manella. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, 9-0. Right, we have everyone, yep. Moving along to agenda item number 4, correspondence. Dr. Zito.
Yeah, we have one item in correspondence. Bittersweet news, but exciting for Sandy Frabel, who's acknowledged that she's going to be retiring at the end of the year. She's our currently our library media specialist at Stevens School. She's also a military veteran. She's been in Rocky Hill for the last 22 years. Wendy was her principal for 6 of those years. I know Sandy's going to be missed greatly, but, she'll finish out the year with us, and we're going to wish her a wonderful, happy, and healthy retirement. So I just wanted to share that news with the board.
Thank you, Dr. Zito. Anyone have any questions for Dr. Zito? Seeing none, we'll move along to agenda item number 5, which is the consent calendar. On the consent calendar tonight, we have approval of the new course for Rocky Hill High School, that course being Advanced Placement Computer Science A. Would anyone like anything added or removed to the consent calendar? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Motion to approve the consent calendar?
Moved by Ms. Tucker. Do I have a second? Second. Seconded by Ms. Manella. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, 9-0. Consent calendar is approved. Moving along to committee reports. First committee would be Curriculum Committee. Ms. Tucker?
The curriculum committee has not met since December 19th, and we just approved what we discussed about the Advanced Placement Computer Science A program.
Thank you, Ms. Tucker. Next committee is Facilities, Mr. Gavin.
The Facilities Committee has not met since the last meeting. However, we'll complete a full review of projects that we're working on during the budget workshops.
Thank you, Mr. Gavin. Any questions for Mr. Gavin? And did anyone have any questions for Ms. Tucker? I forgot to ask that. All right. Moving along to number 8 is Finance Committee. Ms. Tucker?
The Finance Committee has not met, but we are scheduled for our budget workshops January 28th, January 30th, and then February 6th.
Thank you, Ms. Tucker. Any questions for Ms. Tucker on finance? All right, moving along to number 9, Personnel and Negotiations, Mr. Gavin.
Personnel negotiations have not met. I don't think we have a need to meet for a while.
Correct. Any questions for Mr. Gavin? Thank you, Mr. Gavin. Along to number 10, Policy, Mr. Shabra.
We met on December 19th, and we have a policy number 6200. Tonight it's the first reading. It's actually later on in the agenda. But we will be hopefully adopting that policy at the next board meeting.
Excellent. And we can discuss and have any discussion on that when we get to that agenda item, if anyone so desires.
Comment on that, too. On
Sure.
policies,
Dr. Zito.
I will be reaching out to Mr. Chopper to schedule a policy committee to discuss the recent federal ruling on Title IX, going kind of back to the old rules, and we need to change policy. So I'll set that up with you.
Thank you, Dr. Zito. Moving along to number 11, Special Education.
The Special Education Committee has not met, and no specific meetings are scheduled at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Tucker. Any questions for Ms. Tucker? Moving along to number 12, Correct Counsel, Mr. Shabra.
Nothing to report.
Thank you, Mr. Shabra. Any questions for Mr. Shabra? All right, number 13, School Safety, Mr. Clemens.
We have not met since our last meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Clemens. Any questions for Mr. Clemens? And number 14 is Technology, Mr. Gavin.
The Technology Committee has not met since our last meeting, but again, we will be doing a full review of Chris's projected budget during the workshops.
Correct. Any questions for Mr. Gavin? Thank you, Mr. Gavin.
Quick question.
Oh, sure, Mr.
Yeah,
Koska.
just quick, so most of that conversation will happen during budget time, and there won't be a need for a committee meeting outside of that? We'll just do it during budget discussions?
Correct.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Any other question? All right, moving along. Number 15, Old Business. We have no old business tonight. Number 16, as Mr. Schaber was pointing out, is a review of the proposed Board of Education Policy 6200, Selection, Maintenance, and Reconsideration of Library Resources. Tonight it's scheduled for a first reading. Give it to Dr.
Yeah,
Zito.
Actually, I'm going to have Wendy speak on
Sure.
this. She is a former school librarian and is an expert on this and did a great job presenting this to the policy committee back in December.
Thank you, give me a minute.
Okay.
Put her on the spot.
Basically, the
That's okay.
policy relates to,
I'm fine.
okay, all right, go ahead.
Getting organized.
So the policy relates to having a process in place if we are looking to add a book to the collection. The library media specialist will follow that policy. Also, if we have any questions of any materials that we have in our holdings, there's a process that families or community members would go through. The board would be abreast of any sort of a request that was made. It would go through the chain, starting at the building level and then moving up to central office. And if need be, it would go beyond that. But the policy was written in conjunction with our library media specialists, and I can take any questions you may have. We did have a very thorough meeting and discussion about the items within the policy at our subcommittee meeting, but I'm happy to answer any additional questions.
Also drafted with recommendations from the Shipman lawyer as well.
Yeah, it was definitely run through them.
Anybody have any questions? Ms. Tucker?
I have one question. I apologize for missing that policy committee meeting. Is there any concerns or reasons why the policy has come about? Was this a new law or legislation?
No, it's a great question. The reason we wanted to, there have been some confrontations and conflicts in other communities. We have not had a problem here, but we just want to have a clear policy for the removal of materials and a process that parents can follow if they do find something objectionable in a library collection. So we're trying to get ahead of it so there's
Being
something
proactive.
defined to deal with any issues that do come up.
Thank
I don't
you.
anticipate any, and I'm not looking for any conflict.
Excellent.
And if I remember correctly from the policy committee meeting, it's really just codifying what's been being done.
Correct.
It's just so that it's codified and put down in a coherent policy that can be referred to and referenced, and it's easier to follow if it's on paper. So that was part of the consideration.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Rand? Mr. Cosker?
Just a comment, because I was actually going to comment on the same thing, Amber, because I was at the policy committee meeting and heard that, and I applaud the administration for doing this and putting this out there, because I think it's important to have the process in place. And again, to your point, Dr. Zito, staying ahead of it and not waiting and responding to something that happens in our own community. So, we all have seen this happening in other communities, and it's helpful for us to know. And here's the process, and whether it's adding, whether it's removing, here's what you got to go through, and everyone knows that. And staff knows it, students, public, and so it's really helpful. So I appreciate this, and I look forward to voting on it next meeting. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Cosker. Any other questions, comments? All right. Thank you, Mr. Rand and Dr. Zito. Moving along to number 17, Assistant Superintendent for Personnel and Student Services, Ms. Stevenson.
All right, good evening, everybody, and Happy New Year, Happy 2025. My report is going to be very brief tonight, and really all I'm going to talk to you about is just all of the things the Office of Pupil Services and Human Resources has been doing and everything that's going on. We're very busy. So this time of year, we kind of turn our focus to state testing and making sure that all of our students have the appropriate accommodations that are needed to engage in the state testing that will be coming up. We also start to think about, believe it or not, next school year, and we really start having conversations about our students that are going to be transitioning, especially those students that are going to be transitioning to new schools and what kind of staffing they need, and just kind of wanting to make sure that we meet their needs. So those conversations are happening. And of course, we have ESY that's coming up. So we start now planning so that we can make sure that our students have an engaging and appropriate. And ESY, in case anybody doesn't know, is Extended School Year Services. That's our summer programming. So we're very busy with all of those initiatives right now. We're also getting ready, and we're excited for negotiations with our paraeducators and our school secretaries. So that's going to be coming up very soon. So we're getting ready for that, preparing documentation in partnership with Mr. Zettergren. We're kind of doing that together, and Dr. Zito. And then I just wanted to let you know that we're also working, some of you might have heard about the new Connecticut paid sick leave law, and that does affect school districts, so that affects all of our employees. So we have been working really hard to make sure that we implement that law, and that's been challenging, but we're doing it. And then we are also, Mr. Rand and I have been working a lot, and we'll be talking with you later on in the year. You might have heard about some new legislation that involves restorative practices and school climate. And those are policies that we'll be bringing to you later on. We don't want to bring them to you now because we want to make sure we go through all of them and we have everything in place to implement them appropriately. And we are working on that now and working with the principals. There's been lots of training sessions and meetings, and we're doing a lot of work to prepare for that implementation, which will be 2025, will be July of 2025. So just wanted to let you know about that. And then finally, I'm very excited to announce we have the van. It's running and it's here, and thank you to everybody that helped us get this. Mr. LaMontagne, I think, did the bulk of it. He's not here, so I wanted to thank him. It's great, and we did want it in the shape of a coffee cup, so that was the one thing we didn't get, but it's okay. It's okay. And the van is for the Dream Cafe, so that the students can help do the deliveries. And you know, we just had the Unified event at the middle school last week, and you know, the students couldn't go. So while they prepared and helped, Erin had to go on her own. Now we have the vehicle, and Erin today, I just got the text actually right before this meeting. She just texted it to me. The DMV approved all of her paperwork, and she has the certification that she needs to be able to transport students, so that just went into effect today. So now she'll be able to transport the students, and they'll be able to help with the deliveries, which is going to be so great, especially because a lot of these students have been with us, and they're going to be able to go in and see some of their old, you know, teachers, principals, and staff, and things like that. So it's just going to be more meaningful. So I'm very excited about that. And then we are working, hoping to get this up and running. You know that our staff lunches have been really popular. We've been delivering, you know, to all the schools, and it's been going really well. We're trying to incorporate an online payment so that the teachers, because right now it's kind of cash, and as you know, like, right, I have to go to the bank tonight because I ordered lunch for tomorrow and I have to get cash. So we're trying to incorporate some online payments because we think that's actually going to really expand the lunch orders. And Erin, the culinary director, has also, and I can't remember which business it is, but I'll find out. A business approached her and asked if they could do the lunches, and she's going to try it. It's only about 10 employees, but they're going to try to do that and add that in. So it's growing, it's exciting. So thank you again for all the support because it's been really great. So that concludes my report. If anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Stevenson. Anyone have any questions?
Not really a question, just a comment. I attended that Unified event we had, and the food that the folks at Dream Cafe made was phenomenal. Everything was really, really good.
I will pass that along to Erin and Justin, our culinary experts. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Ms. Stevenson, I want to just, I think on behalf of the whole board, just thank you for all the work that you put in as well. I mean, you're always thanking us for supporting it, but there was a lot of legwork that went into getting it off the ground and continuing to grow it. So I know the board, everyone on the board is just very happy with it and thankful for all the work that you've put in. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Moving along to agenda item number 18, Assistant Superintendent for Finances and Operations, Mr. Zettergren.
Yes, in your board packet is financial report for the month ending December 2024. Also, along with that is the projected financial report as well. In the report, I have highlighted some of the items that we will be keeping a close eye on as we progress throughout the remainder of the year. The year is going by quickly. In front of you, you have the 2025-26 budget binders. So the budget binder is structured in much the same way as previous years, so it should look very familiar to you. As you know, our budget workshops are scheduled for the week after next. So we'll get into answering any questions you may have about the budget. If you do have any questions after you get done reviewing it, as previous years, if you can email me or Dr. Zito or both with any questions you may have. We'll try to respond to those and have them ready as part of the budget workshops. So I think that's worked out really well in the past. So we look forward to presenting the budget to you, Dr. Zito will, and receiving your feedback. And if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Zettergren. Any questions? Ms. Manella?
Hi, Chuck.
Hi.
I noticed that we're running a deficit on the salaries, and was wondering if we're getting any funds to offset that.
We won't be getting any funds to offset the salaries. We will be getting grants to offset some of the tuition that's associated with magnet schools, as well as students that need to be going out to other facilities for their needs from a special ed standpoint. So that'll offset the tuition account. That's also in a deficit, but once we receive those funds, I think that'll be back in the positive side.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. Usually there's a time period there, so I wasn't sure.
Right. Yeah, we typically receive our first check at the end of February.
Okay.
And then a second check in May.
Okay. And then what about our health insurance? How's that looking so far?
Our health insurance, from a plan standpoint, is going really well. The implementation and the customer service has been very, very well, very good. We are a little bit in the red on that just because, people come in and off the plan, or they change their selection, going from single to two-person or family. So those changes have resulted in a little bit of a deficit currently, but again, that may change as we progress through the year.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Gavin? Thank you, Ms. Manella.
One quick question. On the estimated additional,
Yep,
the negative numbers are positive and the positive numbers are negative?
correct. Yep.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Kosker?
Yeah, Chuck, just to follow up with what Maria was saying on the salaries, because they stood out quite
Yeah.
a bit, right? So you made a note, which was helpful, that on the non-certified, one position got swapped and whatever, so that resulted in some changes there. That makes sense to me. I kind of get that. On the paraprofessional subs, and a lot of that is just additional staff that's been needed during
Right.
the year, just
Yeah.
due to student needs on the paraprofessional side, on subs, because we needed subs. Do you see those numbers kind of tracking that same way the remainder of the year? Because like those three buckets are in deficits. Do you see that continuing in your projections, or if you can comment on that, or maybe you can't?
No, I think from a standpoint, I do see that continuing. And in that second report, I have projected out some additional numbers for those. You to estimate those the best we can.
Of course.
And as we get closer, as we progress, those will be adjusted as well. Yeah, so I do think we'll see some additional subs in that line item.
Just, again, thinking about it from the standpoint of, as we're doing budget this year, and understanding, are those going to continue till, and I know you'll probably address this as we do the budget workshops, but,
Yeah.
Both on the para side and the sub side, so we can line them up better.
Right.
And know those are tough, they're tough things that obviously
Yeah, the
changes happen during
pairs
the year.
are, that's really a base, based on student needs.
Yeah.
Is where that comes into flow.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Kosker. Any other questions for Mr. Zettergren? All right, seeing none, we'll move along to number 19, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instructions, Ms. Duran.
Okay, so tomorrow the district's going to be holding a half-day of professional development. Each school has a building-based focus for the PD sessions. We're continuing to support the implementation of the new reading series in our K-5 buildings, the district implementation of the iPad and docking stations at the GMS, and training with instructional technology programs, mandated training, including CPR, and teaching the teachers' professional learning goals will all be focused on tomorrow during their PD time. I also wanted to share that our district has been selected to participate in a pilot program with the state that's going to evaluate the integration of artificial intelligence tools at our high school within the CTE classrooms. 7 districts were selected. We were one of 7. And the state's partnered with vendors securing student data privacy agreements for the different programs. And each of the school districts that were selected will be asked to choose one of those programs after we attend a training next week. We were notified that the pilot program also is going to be coming with some grant funding. We haven't received our total amount yet, but we were told that districts would be receiving between $50,000 and $100,000 to be used to implement. And the state seems to have done a really nice job of putting this together. It's quite impressive. They have 24-hour IT assistance for us, a lot of support that they're going to provide to our committee. We have an AI committee that will be leading the work as well. And we're just excited to have the support as we sort of step into this realm. So I wanted to share that with you this evening, since it's happened very quickly over the last couple of weeks. The application was due right before the break, and we found out last week, and we already have to make a decision next week. So it's moving pretty quickly. As AI moves quickly, they're moving quickly. So the other thing I wanted to just quickly share with you is that this month our ML students will be participating in their Lost Links assessments, and several administrators and myself will be also attending the the state training for SBAC and other state assessments. So we're starting to enter our testing season and preparing for that as well. And that was it for me. Any questions? I'm happy to take.
Thank you, Mr. Rand. Any questions?
Just another comment real quick.
Sure.
The AI thing that happened so quick, that's great. My question was gonna be, did we apply? Was it voluntary? And it all happened, because I hadn't heard of it before. So I was like, wow, did I miss something? But that was really, so again, applause to you guys for applying and making it happen and doing it, because it's great for us as a school system, as a district, to be kind of in that at the forefront of this. So that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think to that point, regardless of how you feel about AI, it's a part of the world we live in now. So I think it's important to just, the kids are going to have to grow up with it. We're going to have to start to integrate it into our lives. So I think it makes sense we can't pretend it doesn't exist. So I think that sounds like a good thing. So thank you.
Thank you.
On top of what Mr. Kosker said, thank you. Any other questions, comments? All right, moving along to number 20, Superintendent's Report, Dr. Zito.
So we were at the high school last week, Mr. Rand and I doing a walkthrough, and the AI topic came up, and what we're starting to see is those of you that are in my age bracket remember the blue books in college. We're starting to see some of the high school teachers kind of reverting back to the essay, in-class essay response, no device.
It's a pen.
Let's see how your writing is without using a computer to help you. So I actually think that could be a good development. Everything in moderation, but I think moving in that direction could be helpful for some kids to develop their writing skills. So just interesting the way the world works. You have your budget books. I want to thank Chuck for his leadership in putting this process together, but I also want to acknowledge Wendy and Amy, very important roles in helping us craft a budget for you. We're coming in at about 4.87, which is about a point lower than where we came in last year. It's a very lean, very tight budget. There's not a lot of wiggle room. I'll get into a lot of detail in a couple weeks, but basically we're holding with really no new staff coming in, and health insurance and some costs in special ed, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty much a bare bones budget, but dig into it. Please feel free to email us questions. We'll get to all your questions. If you get them to me 10 minutes before the budget meeting, I can't get it to you, but if you get me, 2-3 days lead time, soon, and you don't have to send them all at once. If you're going through the book and something catches your eye, email us, and we'll get the more we have in advance, the smoother the process goes. It's worked really well, as Chuck said earlier, so don't be shy about that. Our first meeting is scheduled for the 28th, and then we have 2 other sessions on January 30th, and then if needed, February 1st. As Wendy mentioned, tomorrow's an early release day for the students, and then we have a long weekend in honor of Reverend Martin Luther King, so there's no school on Monday. And the last comment I want to make is I spoke with Mr. Slattery today. We're looking to move the June board meeting from the 19th back to the 12th. The 12th right now is the last day of school. The graduation is June 16th. And the thought was it would be nice to conclude our board activities the week school ends and then be able to have the graduation on the 16th and not ask you folks, after all you do, to come back the first full week off from school. So we're looking to move that meeting back a week to June 12th. Talked to Christine about doing that today too. So if that presents a problem, please email me, but I think, it's almost 6 month advance notice, so we'll get that out. We'll formalize that date. So at this point, that's all I have to share. We look forward to working with each of you on the budget process in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, Dr. Zito. Any questions or comments for Dr. Zito? I will comment, I'm kind of glad to hear that the Blue Book was discussed, because I think it's important that we don't let them lose those skills, so those are important too. I think it's about integrating the new AI and not necessarily forgetting those basic skills. All right, moving along to my report, agenda item number 21. Just briefly, Dr. Zito covered most things. I just wanted to give a shout out to GMS for the Unified Sports recognition. Myself, Mr. Clemens, Mr. Kosker was there. It was a wonderful event. The food was delicious. I will second that, which was catered by the Dream Cafe. But also just learned some pretty cool things about Unified and the fact that there's apparently 5 champion schools within the state and 2 are within our district, which I thought was really, really cool. And there was one other thing that, and if I want to know if I'm remembering this correctly, but it was so GMS is the oldest running unified program to be named or the longest running unified program to be named a champion school. It was like 30 years. Yeah. Which I thought was incredibly impressive. It's a great program, and I just want to thank everyone who's involved in it, right down to the students who participate in it and the teachers and staff who help to supervise it. Want to give a shout out or just a reminder that the Harlem Wizards game this year is Friday, March 21st at 7 p.m. Also, a shameless shout out. Come out and watch the girls' basketball team. Miss Tucker's daughter is on the team. They are incredibly fun to watch. It's been very exciting. They had a really exciting win against New Britain on Monday. An exciting but not so good loss to East Catholic yesterday, but they've been very exciting games. I haven't had the opportunity to see the boys. I'm sure they're exciting as well, but I can only speak from my personal experience. I only have so much time, so that's I wanted to give that shout out. If you have an opportunity, get to one of the games. They're really fun to watch. And then just the final, with budget coming up, obviously everybody has their books, cozy up to them. It really is beneficial to have that first, to have those questions in advance so that it gives an opportunity to have thought out and like real answers to those big questions up front. So we're not, I'll get back to you on that, I'll get back to you on that. Now, those things are going to come up still as we're digging through things, but take the time, cozy up to your budget binder. Any questions, send them over to Dr. Zito. I think that wraps everything up for me. Does anyone have any questions for me, comments?
I have one.
Mr. Gavin.
I have a letter that a very nice 6th grader wrote that I'll be forwarding to everyone. Mr. Zito received it literally before the meeting, so I look forward to hearing all of your responses from Ryan, and he's a great kid, so it's a good letter.
What a cliffhanger. I'm like excited. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Mr. Gavin. Any other questions, comments? All right, with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Moved by Ms. Tucker. Do I have a second? Seconded by Ms. Morfea. All those, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, 9-0. We are adjourned at 7:48. 38, my apologies.
The quickest meeting you've ever imagined coming.
You guys picked a good one.
Fastest meeting we'll ever.